Thank you, Dave, and an exquisite July day in the Steel Town. Hamilton Tiger Cats, Calgary Stampeders getting ready to kick it off. 27 degrees Celsius, not as sticky and muggy as it has been this week. The wind could make a difference, though. Gusts up to 31 kilometers an hour later in the afternoon, and that wind will go from left to right when we get down to playing. And big week for the O-line for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Well, it certainly is, coming off a game, as the panel just told us, where they gave up 7 sacks. No question they need to be better. The question is, can they be better facing a Calgary D-line anchored by these two guys, Mike Labinjo in the best shape of his career, and Charleston Hughes, one of the best pass rushers in the Canadian Football League.
John Hufnagel, third season with the Stampeders 2 years ago. Grey Cup champions. Trying to get back there again. Marcel Belfait. 9-9 season last year. Team with great expectations this year and did not deliver last week in game 1 against Winnipeg. Sandro DeAngelis and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And we have the kickoff in the Hammer Saturday afternoon. Dion Murphy, who a little bit of a problem hanging on to that football in week 1, takes the first kick, and here comes Henry Burris and the Calgary offense.
And Henry Burris looks to get this offense into the end zone a little bit more often this week, after a week in which they controlled the ball against the Toronto Argonauts. Hopefully PK Sam, making his first start of 2010, be one of the guys that can help them get it done. Of course, this rebuilt offensive line did a terrific job last week in that ball control offense. One of the keys, the acquisition of the veteran, Dan Comiskey.
Guy who ran all over the Toronto Argonauts last week. Another 100-yard rushing game for the two-time rushing champion in a row, Joffrey Reynolds. And Henry Burris also piling up the yardage last week. But as JR goes, so go the Stampeders.
Absolutely, and Joffrey Reynolds is Mr. Consistency for these Calgary Stampeders. 5 consecutive seasons over 1,000 yards. Always maintains a rushing average of over 5.5 yards a carry. As long as they keep him involved, their offense seems to do just fine.
Over the middle, 2nd and 6. PK Sam will move the yardsticks. First play is a Calgary Stampeder, first possession, and PK Sam has his first reception as a Stamp.
And all eyes here on PK Sam, who'll come from the left side of the screen on a quick slant. He is the man stepping into this Calgary lineup to replace the departed Jermaine Copeland. Those two slot backs traded for one another during the offseason.
Jermaine Copeland and the Argos getting a win last night, their first in Winnipeg. Stampeders with the wind in this first quarter. Play action. Henry Burris tucks it, takes it, dives for the first down.
And there's the classic Calgary Stampeders zone read. Henry Burris fakes the handoff to his running back, Joffrey Reynolds. Now, we might have expected the defensive end, Justin Hickman, to bite on this last year as a rookie and come down inside. Hickman's in his 2nd year now. He can't be fooled by that play. He's got to maintain contain responsibility. In other words, he's got to keep outside leverage on that quarterback, Henry Burris.
Calgary owned the football against Toronto. 42 minutes time of possession in the game last week. Did a lot of this, driving the ball and using Joffrey Reynolds, but this time he's gobbled up to try to go up the middle, and Matt Kirk with the tackle.
Matt Kirk will see a lot of time rotating in on that defensive line. These linebackers, though, they don't give up any reps, anchored by the veteran. Otis Floyd came into training camp this year in fantastic condition. The back end, a lot of changes there. All eyes this week on Jason Shivers. Had a tough time last week dealing with Terrence Edwards of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This week, he'll have his hands full with PK Sam and Nick Lewis.
2nd and 9. Burris back to throw. Here's the rush, and probably sacked. Garrett McIntyre.
Well, Garrett McIntyre is a natural defensive end, but this is exactly why the Hamilton Tiger Cats want big number 71 playing inside. at that tackle position. They feel he's one of their 4 best pass rushers. You see the speed, the quickness, the motor of Garrett McIntyre as he picks up that sack.
Burke Dales, big kick. And the guy who lit it up last week is going to do it again. Marcus Thigpen, high hurdle. Will he be caught? Unbelievable. 93 yards. The new hero in Hamilton. 2 returns last week. Instant magic from number 8.
Well, the name on the back of his jersey says Thigpen, but I think the Hamilton Tiger Cats will just start calling this guy Mo, as in momentum. Changes it every time he touches the ball.
Special teams player of the week in his first game a week ago, Marcus Thigpen. The new star in the Hammer. To the new Mr. Excitement. Chad Owens move over. Marcus Thigpen has 3 touchdown returns in 2 weeks.
Not bad for a guy who got released by the Saskatchewan Roughriders at the end of training camp.
Signed as a free agent 5 days before the season began. Quickly, 7-0 Cats. Dion Murphy brings it to the 36-yard line. But already this season, Dwayne Ford, 6 touchdown returns off of kicks. All of last season, the entire league, there was 7. And Marcus Thigpen, Ronaldo Nehemiah, has 3 of them.
Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't hurt the Canadian Football League at all to see guys like Marcus Thigpen, Chad Owens get an opportunity to get on the field.
That's how you do it. Good job.
4 seasons at Indiana, again released by the Rough Riders. Now Henry Burris, pump fake. Scrambles again, flushed out, downfield, and throws it short for Nick Lewis. But Henry Burris had to escape there. Again, the Ticats all around the Stampeders quarterback.
Well, and this pressure comes from big number 90 in the middle of this defense. DeMonte Bolden absolutely collapses that pocket, driving the guard back into quarterback Henry Burris. Burris can't step up to throw the ball. He gets flushed to the outside and has to throw it away. Bolden ended up taking over that defensive tackle job when the veteran on the D-line, Darrell Adams, retired during training camp.
2nd and 10. And the first down up to the 52-yard line is R.J. Franklin. Former Blue Bomber, R.J. Franklin, coming over late last season and getting a lot of time with the Stampeders.
R.J. Franklin, former University of Windsor star, native of Scarborough, Ontario. No doubt has a strong support group here in Hamilton today watching him. Small in stature, but one of the finest athletes. One of the best guys, quite frankly, in the Canadian Football League.
Inside handoff on the reverse. And Dion Murphy is brought down by Joaquin Bradley, who read it to perfection.
This is just great awareness by the wide side corner, Joaquin Bradley. Anytime Dion Murphy's in the lineup, you've got to be prepared for him to get the ball in some sort of creative fashion, primarily a kick returner for the Stampeders. They've got a package in there for him. If he's on the field, there's a pretty good chance he's getting the rock. Joaquin Bradley absolutely knew it and was there waiting, licking his chops.
2nd and 7. There's the defensive coordinator, Greg Marshall of the Ticats. Something to prove this week. Here's the rush. And another catch and another first down. And it's Nick Lewis, who's had some running commentary this week with his old teammate, Sandro DeAngelis.
Well, Nick Lewis is never at a loss for words. Sandro DeAngelis, no shrinking violet himself. We'll hear a little bit more on that as the game progresses. For now, Nick Lewis lets his play do the talking. Big catch to move the chains.
107 straight games now for Nick Lewis with a catch. An impressive streak. Joffrey Reynolds gets the left side. Rumbles very close to the 35-yard line, very close to a first down. Such a tough back to pull down.
Well, we talked yesterday with Markeith Knowlton about what it is that makes Joffrey Reynolds such a good running back. He said it's the fact that he always keeps his feet moving. Otis Floyd has a chance to tackle him in the hole, but Reynolds keeps his feet moving, bounces it to the outside before Floyd can step up and wrap. And away he goes, making something out of nothing. People always worry about running backs once they hit that magic age of 30, which Joffrey Reynolds has within the last year, but certainly shows no signs of slowing down.
Here is a guy who sees Ticats stripes and lights up. Look at those numbers against the Tiger Cats, averaging 92 yards a game, 6.6 yards a carry, and also those 5 touchdowns. The bullseye on number 21 today. And again, ran all over and around and through the Toronto Argonauts a week ago.
No doubt, as Hamilton defensive coordinator Greg Marshall reviewed that film, prepared for this game, a lot of time was spent talking about number 21 in red and white.
A lot of talk about Hamilton's offensive line and their struggles a week ago. Calgary basically a revamped O-line as well. Second short yardage here. Burris behind those big guys. 1,500 pounds or so of them. And Calgary, that was the big question mark in the offseason, Dwayne Ford, about those big guys up front and how to replace a guy like Jeff Pilon and Dimitri Soupas and Jesse Newman.
Huge challenge for the Calgary Stampeders and for their personnel staff. John Murphy did a terrific job scouting, finding some bodies. Chris Jones, John Huffnagel involved in those decisions as well.
4 receivers to the right. Burris calls his own number. Otis Floyd initially wrapped him up. And Henry Burris about half the first down yardage.
Well, Henry Burris is forced to go on the run here by the strong side linebacker Markeith Knowlton. He's going to come unblocked on a blitz from the left side of this defensive formation. As he blitzes, Burris sees him immediately, knows his only escape route is to the left. Otis Floyd does a great job getting out there, as does Justin Hickman, to complete the play, but give the assist to Markeith Knowlton.
2nd and 6 over the top. And another first down for Calgary, down to the 16-yard line. And again, it's Nick Lewis, who yesterday told us that he's sniffing that end zone early in this season. It took him quite some time last year, up until the 17th game, until he finally got his first touchdown and only touchdown of the year.
And Nick Lewis had his eye on the end zone on this one. No doubt a crossing route versus man coverage, just unable to outrun strong side linebacker Markeith Knowlton.
5 receivers set. Burris, the pump fake, into the end zone. Touchdown, an easy one for Rombie Bryant. Could not be more wide open. Little pitch and catch for the TD.
This is exactly the way you draw it up when you're the Calgary Stampeders. Henry Burris drops, pump fake. That gets Joaquin Bradley to bite. Rombie Bryant runs behind him. And a schoolyard play works to perfection.
The new kicker on the block for the Stampeders, Rob Maver, back home. The point after, but penalty flag on the play. The referee today is Andre Pruitt. Looks like they're going to have a reboot.
Illegal procedure. Calgary number 42. 5-yard penalty. Will repeat the convert.
This is a great response by the Stampeders to that electricity created by Marcus Thigpen. Robbie Bryant again came over with R.J. Franklin from Winnipeg. And that is his first touchdown as a Calgary Stampeder. And we're all tied at 7. Under 6 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Robbie Bryant's first regular season touchdown with the Calgary Stampeders. Did record one in the playoffs last year, but this one was butter.
Well, it sure was. Robbie Bryant just runs a 5-yard hitch and go. There's the hitch, timed up with the pump fake from Burris. Joaquin Bradley steps up to try and make a play, but Robbie Bryant's running the other way.
Now the dilemma for the Stampeders. Number 6 is back there, Marquay McDaniel, but number 8 looms. Marcus Thigpen, who has fast become a household name in Hamilton in 2 weeks.
Well, the key word, Rod, is fast. Yeah. He does everything fast.
He does. And again, here's the kid, Rob Maver, University of Guelph product. First-round pick of the Stampeders. Replaces Sandro DeAngelis, who came to Hamilton as a free agent. Here he goes again. Thigpen finds the edge. Marcus Thigpen. And a penalty flag flies after the play. Thigpen with a return of 28 yards. You almost expect more from the guy already. And that was a good return.
That's going to wreck his average.
Yeah. There was a penalty flag. A little extracurricular stuff behind the play.
At the end of the play, major foul, unnecessary roughness, Hamilton number 20, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And that is backup free safety Dylan Barker on the special teams. And that will negate that return by that guy. Boy, this league has been full of great returners, the gizmos and the pinballs, and they all had great nicknames. He's got a pretty good name right now. Kevin Glenn's first pass. Bryson James has it.
And this is a play, Rod, that isn't just big for the Hamilton Tiger Cats in answering a Calgary Stampeders scoring drive, but also big for Bryson James, who had an important fumble in last week's game. Good for him to get his confidence going. Kevin Glenn has 6-man protection. O-line does a good job. Another key to a good start for the Ticats in this ball game. Kevin Glenn steps up and throws a strike.
First time the offense has been on the field with just 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Again, Calgary dominating time of possession as they did last week against the Toronto Argonauts, as we again take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Rona, doing it right.
The Hamilton offense, as you said, finally takes to the field. And Ticat fans finally get a look at Maurice Mann. He makes his first start of 2010 after coming over in the offseason from Edmonton. As we mentioned earlier, all eyes on young right tackle Simeon Rotier. Had a tough time last week. In Rotier's defense, he hasn't played on the right side a lot in his career, and the footwork's different.
Glenn, strong arm, fires. Dave Sticky Stala. A human highlight reel for the Cats a year ago. Former Alouette first season last year, and his first catch at Iverwin this year.
Nice job by that offensive line and running back DeAndre Cobb, who stepped up in blitz pickup, formed that wall around Kevin Glenn. Give him a nice pocket. Quarterback, when he feels no pressure, it's a lot easier to play mistake-free football.
Dave Stala had a big year last year coming home to play, and DeAndre Cobb has running room and a good tackle made by middle linebacker Juwan Simpson. Otherwise, DeAndre Cobb might have found the house.
We'll get a look at Juwan Simpson and the rest of this Calgary defense. A group that's thrilled to have Mike Labinjo back healthy and in shape. Labinjo dropped about 30 pounds in the offseason. He's ready to go. Keep an eye on number 31, the veteran free safety, Wes Lysak. He'll spend a lot of time down low, close to the line of scrimmage, bringing pressure.
Second down, 2 yards to go. Quinton Porter in a quarterback. DeAndre Cobb is actually pushed forward on that late tackle, and it looks like he'll move the sticks. Looked for a moment as if the Stampeders were able to stop his initial progression, and then the hit from behind, and was able to creep close to that 25-yard line.
We see the elusive DeAndre Cobb.
Quinton Porter back on the sideline now. Kevin Glenn back at the helm. 4 receivers to his right in motion. He looks left and could not find Chris Bauman, who was tangled up there with Brandon Browner.
Hamilton Tiger Cats looking for a little bit different look that time with wide receiver Chris Bauman lined up as a tight end. Quick release to the flat.
Quinton Porter was the guy who was ordained as the starter not too long ago, but Kevin Glenn came in last year and led this team to the playoffs, almost to the Eastern Final. Glenn going deep, looking for Arland Bruce over his shoulder. Almost Willie Maysed it.
Arland Bruce went in motion and ended up as the number 2 receiver, the middle man in this 3-man set. He's going to the corner, which is bread and butter for Arland Bruce. Kevin Glenn's eyeballing that route all the way. Bruce has a step, but the ball's thrown a little high, a little long for Arland Bruce.
The former Stampeder now, Sandro DeAngelis. Most accurate kicker in CFL history, a free agent in the offseason, decided to come home. He's from Niagara Falls. The hold, the kick, and it's wide right. Dion Murphy gives up a point. That's the difference in the ball game right now. A minute and a half to go in the opening quarter. Welcome back to Iverwin Stadium. Welcome home for Sandro DeAngelis. With more, let's go down to Jermaine Franklin.
Thanks, Rod. Sandro DeAngelis and Rod Maver have known each other for years, but only through Facebook and email. It wasn't until this morning when the two kickers met face-to-face, and Maver says he owes a lot of his success to DeAngelis, who gave him training tips after his sophomore season with Guelph University. The following season, Maver's accuracy and distance increased tremendously, and he never looked back from there, eventually getting drafted by the Stampeders. So Sandro DeAngelis did leave the Stamps as a free agent to sign with Hamilton, but it's safe to say he groomed Maver, his replacement.
Sandro DeAngelis, if you know the emotion that boils within that young man, not happy with himself right now. He is used to making those kicks.
He is the most accurate field goal kicker in Canadian Football League history. It's not quite accustomed to having to analyze a lot of misses.
And his first field goal attempt in his new home. Henry Burris over the middle again. This is R.J. Franklin. And we'll see where the spot is. The spot is very favorable for the Stampeders, very close to a first down.
R.J. Franklin does a nice job here coming from the right side of your screen of finding a nice soft spot in the Hamilton Tiger Cats zone defense. He settles between the linebacker and corner in that play.
Under a minute to go, the Stampeders down 1, but they have owned the time clock as they did last week against Toronto. Just one offensive sequence for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Almost hard to fathom.
Well, if there is a downside to having a guy like Marcus Thigpen in your lineup, when you're playing a team like Calgary with a ball control offense, it means your defense doesn't get a ton of rest. They might just have to put the reins on this kid a little bit.
Boy, he has created some excitement, as has Chad Owens for the Toronto Argonauts. First and 10. Just over 10 seconds left in the first quarter. Joffrey Reynolds has nowhere to go. Wrapped up and brought down by DeMonte Bolden. The CFL on TSN is brought to you in part by Nissan. Shift the way you move. One play to go here, barring penalty in the opening quarter. 2nd and 13. Burris flushed out again. And Henry Burris fumbled the football, and the Stampeders have it. Garrett McIntyre pounces on it on the final play of the opening quarter. A quarter that dominated by the offense of Calgary and the return of Marcus Thigpen. One-point ball game so far. Our numbers brought to you by Tim Hortons, proud sponsor of the CFL.
Another quarter, another opening quarter here in 2010, dominated in terms of time of possession by the Calgary Stampeders, led by none other than number 21, Joffrey Reynolds.
Good response by the Stamps on the Robbie Bryant touchdown to what Marcus Thigpen had done earlier, another touchdown. But the final play of the first quarter, and Henry Burris coughs up the football.
Henry Burris, one of his favorite moves once he starts scrambling is the pump fake. The problem with the pump fake is you can't have the ball held securely if you're going to put it up and pump it. He never really got it tucked back in against his body. Just squirted out as the tackle was made.
So the second offensive sequence in this game, early second quarter for the Hamilton offense. Glenn, quick trigger, and he fumbles the football on the far side. And that was Maurice Mann who gives it right back. In his first game as a Tiger Cat, the former Edmonton Eskimo makes a move but forgot the football.
In the favor of the fumble, quickly returned Maurice Mann, the inside receiver on this play. Just runs a quick little hook route. Nobody there, sits it down to the outside. But similar to Henry Burris' situation on the previous play, didn't secure the football as he made that move. And it has the same end result as did Burris.
Malik Jackson, second fumble recovery last week, a fumble recovery and a touchdown against Toronto. Milt Collins with the strip on Maurice Mann. So a rather conspicuous debut so far for Mann. A little movement on the line. Looks like it's offside against Hamilton. And once again, lunging forward is PK Sam. Let's see how referee Andre Proulx interpreted this. The Ticats move, or were they drawn by movement from the Stampeders? Looks like it's against Calgary.
Offside. Calgary, 82. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Markeith Knowlton, the Hamilton linebacker, was drawn offside. But he was drawn off by Nick Lewis, outside receiver. Lewis's motion from the outside draws Knowlton offside at the right end of that Hamilton defensive formation.
1st and 15. Deep drop from Henry Burris and a drop downfield by Calgary receiver Robbie Bryant.
Well thrown ball here from Henry Burris. Robbie Bryant, solo receiver to the top of the screen. Just gets inside position on Jeff Tisdale. Well thrown ball from Burris, hits him in the numbers. But Bryant lets that one get into his pads instead of cushioning it in his hands away from his body.
Calgary driving into the breeze again. A penalty flag flies. And it is again procedure against Calgary.
Illegal procedure. Calgary number 1, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Against Henry Burris, and I love the way referee Andre Proulx immediately came in and just whistled that. And the more you can do that and keep the game going like that, if there is an infraction. So second and long distance. Quarterbacks, of course, have headsets now, speakers in their helmets. Burris off balance. Garrett McIntyre was in pursuit of number 1. And he has a few words to say for Henry Burris on the way back.
Once again, we see Garrett McIntyre, number 71, the stand-up position in the middle of that defense. Just outruns Dan Comiskey to the spot Comiskey wants to get to in that slide protection. Comiskey's trying to slide to his left. McIntyre read the protection and just beat him to the spot.
Marcus Thigpen, already a return. 93-yarder, third touchdown already in this very young season. Dales had it blocked. Ball is loose. Pats have it. Markeith Knowlton in on the recovery. Another turnover. Hamilton football.
Well, the key to this block is the Calgary Stampeders, 2 deep backs. They've got 2 men back there, but those 2 men only go after 1 Hamilton rusher, Ike Brown. That leaves Dylan Barker free up the middle. The punter can step away from Markeith Knowlton coming off the right side, but he can't step away from both men. A breakdown in communication between the deep backs leads to the block punt.
Instant field position from the 25. Kevin Glenn, the shovel to Arland Bruce. And maybe got to the line of scrimmage. Looks like a loss.
All right, everybody back home. Here we go. It's number 1. Keep them coming. Turnovers, baby.
Dylan
So
Barker.
we do on specials.
Barker set a record, a CFL record for special teams tackles last season, and continuing his fine play on special teams here in 2010.
Native of the province of Saskatchewan. Number 1 pick a couple of seasons ago. Lost 2008 to a broken leg. 2nd and 11. Glenn smothered. Devon Claybrooks eats him up.
Well, when Devon Claybrooks smothers you, you know you've been smothered. Watch big number 95 right up the gut on this play. Pete Diakowski, the left guard, thinks someone else, the center, Marwan Hage, is going to pick him up. He passes him off. Hage has already picked up another defender. Feeding time for the big fella.
Another quarterback digested. So now Sandro DeAngelis, after his first miss today, a longer effort with the wind. From the 42, kick is up and it is through. The former Stampeder makes his first at Iberwin.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats can thank special teams coordinator Dave Easley for their points in this game. Punt return touchdown from Marcus Thigpen earlier, in the field goal set up by Dylan Barker's block punt, accounting for 10 of Hamilton's 11 points thus far.
11-7. Burris, far side of the field, and the catch is made by Dion Murphy, who paid for that grab. Got hit hard while he was on the ground.
Dion Murphy does a nice job going down to get this one. He comes in motion all the way right to left across the screen and just out into the flat. Gets lost in coverage because of that motion behind the line of scrimmage. Better throw from Henry Burris. Dion Murphy might still be running.
In the pocket, Burris unloads. PK Sam has some room. A first down. Shimmies his way close to the midfield stripe.
PK Sam, as we mentioned earlier, an important offseason pickup for these Calgary Stampeders. Spent parts of each of the last 2 seasons with the Toronto Argonauts. Joined the Argos each year after attending NFL camps last year, coming in from Buffalo. So this year in Calgary was really PK Sam's first ever CFL training camp.
Joffrey Reynolds plowing for a first down. You mentioned his first training camp. It wasn't one for him to remember, however.
No, PK Sam spending most of the time on the sidelines injured, this being his first action of the new year.
Had a high fever early in the camp and a hamstring issue. Philip Kenwood Sam was one of the only go-to guys the Toronto Argonauts seemed to have after Arland Bruce had been traded away down the road to the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
John Hufnagel, as he looked to start turning over his receiving core a little bit, he had some concerns about the group getting older all at once. And that was certainly a factor in the decision to deal Jermaine Copeland for the younger PK Sam.
So they'll bring the yardsticks out now. Very close to moving these chains. And indeed, it is a first down into Hamilton territory. Calgary Stampeders last week dominated the game in terms of time of possession against the Argonauts. 42 minutes, almost unheard of. Yet only the one touchdown. Everything else points off the foot of Rob Maver. John Hufnagel told us yesterday he wants to see some more offensive cohesion. He wants to see this team finish in that green zone, 20 yards and in. Let's see if they can. The go-to guy, Joffrey Reynolds, again scampering. Close to another first down.
Revisiting last week's green zone offensive performance from the Calgary Stampeders. Inside that 25-yard line of the Toronto Argonauts, just one touchdown. Settling for 5 field goals from Rob Maver.
This was the team last year that was the most proficient in that area. 67% of the time coming away with a touchdown. Reynolds, room. Brings it inside the 20-yard line. Joffrey Reynolds loves playing the Hamilton Tiger Cats, continuing today.
And Joffrey Reynolds does a nice job here following his blocks. One of those he's going to get is from Nick Lewis coming all the way across the formation. He kicks out the backside defensive end, Justin Hickman, to prevent him from collapsing on that play. Joffrey Reynolds and the O-line do the rest.
4-time CFL All-Star. Back-to-back rushing championships. And there's a ball that should have been caught. Romby Bryant knows it.
That one's going to go down as Romby Bryant's second drop of the day. Terrific opportunity to score on this one. Bryant is running a crossing route here. Left to right on your screen, wide open. The speed of Romby Bryant, he just might have been able to turn that one into 6. But you got to make the catch first.
Well, second down, Mr. Clutch in this situation normally is number 82, Nick Lewis. Deep drop again for Henry Burris. Dances now, and once again, troubles in that green zone for the guys in red.
When we spoke to John Hufnagel yesterday, he said the only key he can come up with to being successful in that green zone is just concentration. You've really got to concentrate on getting the job done. We saw more so on first down, the drop pass from Romby Bryant. Maybe that concentration message isn't getting through.
24-year-old Rob Maver from Brampton out of Guelph University. Back home in front of friends and family. 5 of 6 a week ago. 1 for 1 today. Back to a 1-point game. There he is, the 5th overall pick in the CFL draft, Rob Maver, one of the new stamps. And yes, there is a needle in the haystack out there, and red in a sea of black and gold. And anybody wearing red probably today is a relative or a friend of Mr. Maver.
We talked to Rob yesterday, taking a big chunk out of that rookie paycheck, as he has an entourage of about 50 here to see him play his first CFL game in Southern Ontario.
And this is a high short kick, and dropped Jordan Matichak and knocked out of bounds wisely by Marquay McDaniel.
Hey, this is a great heads-up play by Marquay McDaniel to get this ball out of bounds. Second-year American player showing a very good understanding of Canadian rules, knowing that he just has to bat that out of bounds to maintain possession. The only thing I'd like to see McDaniel do differently on this play is to scream at the top of his lungs and tell Jordan Matichak to get his big body out of the way and let someone with hands catch the ball.
Jordan Matichak, special teams player and long snapper. Just over 7.5 minutes before halftime. 11-10, Hamilton lead. DeAndre Cobb squirms for 5 yards.
DeAndre Cobb was such a great find last season for these Hamilton Tiger Cats. Entered training camp 4th on the depth chart at running back. A slew of injuries in week 1. He suddenly found himself as a starter in week 2. Put up over 100 on the BC Lions in a huge Ticat upset.
A guy who is a very versatile back, not only on the ground, 1,200 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns, but also in the air. He caught 4 touchdown passes. But nowhere to go for DeAndre Cobb on 2nd down, and that will bring out the kick team. And another one of the Hamilton Tiger Cat rookies will come out now. Punter Justin Pilardi. Our first look at him today in his Iverwin debut.
It's the year of the rookie kicker.
Is it ever?
In the Canadian Football League. Rob Maver had his 5 field goals last week. Justin Pilardi, 1 blocked, wasn't his fault, but a good day punting the ball. How about Grant Shaw last night?
How about this rocket? Wow! Justin Pilardi would probably like that to go out of bounds around the 2-yard line, but still, that's a 79-yard hoof.
Looks good on the average, kid.
With another single point. So Henry Burris comes out, and inside that red helmet, Dwayne Fort, a little bit different this year.
Yeah, this is the first year of the coach to quarterback radio system. See the speaker inside the helmet of Henry Burris. He hears the voice of that man, his former teammate, now his coach, quarterback coach Dave Dickinson, the man who calls the plays for the Calgary Stampeders.
So Dickinson radios in the play. Burris can't deliver the pass to PK San. Henry Burris loves having the headsets, the speakers in his helmet.
Very much so. I mean, when I don't have to look to the sideline and try to find our coach and get a signal, it makes life so much easier. I can worry about substitution, gets guys in and out of the huddle and gets us to the line of scrimmage that much faster. And to me, it helps speed up the pace. It puts more pressure on the defense to make their substitutions.
Second down and 10. Burris. R.J. Franklin. No pass, incomplete. Henry Burris said there is a bit of a downside, Dwayne.
Well, he does listen to the voice of Dave Dickinson in that headset. Not always the most pleasing thing.
Again, maybe for the uninitiated out there, how does that headset work, that radio set work for the quarterback in terms of shut-off time, when he hears Dave Dickinson, etc.?
Well, as soon as a previous play ends, the line of communication is open. That remains open until either the ball is snapped or until there are 10 seconds left on the play clock.
Loading kick, bouncing down, and Thigpen is rocked. Well, Henry Burris said that hearing Dave Dickinson is a little different. How does Dave Dickinson sound, Henry?
Well, Hank, you know, down there they got some, I mean, he sounds very scary. I mean, you know, I tell him I have nightmares about him at night sometimes, and, you know, I kind of wake up in a deep sweat, you know, like, what the heck was that? But Dave's been great, though.
Dave Dickinson and that Montana drawl. After all these years, these guys have known each other. They became teammates in 1997. They've known each other a while. You'd think that Hank would be used to that voice.
One of the greats in the game, Dave Dickinson, and a career really shortened because of his concussion problems and the hits that he took. Little hitch pass to Arland Bruce, courtesy of Kevin Glenn on first down.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats are looking for ways to get their best offensive player, Arland Bruce, involved in the game. Just 3 catches last week. Quiet here today. Ticats look for him deep once. At this point, just trying to get the ball in his hands on a simple play, a high percentage pass with the hitch. And try to let Arland Bruce do something with it after the catch. The Calgary Stampeders were in good defensive position.
Arland Bruce, the main threat, of course. Priche Rodriguez now gone from the Tiger Cats. That's why Hamilton went out and got Maurice Mann. And Marquay McDaniel will move the yardsticks.
Well, we've seen over the course of this game, guys like Marquay McDaniel with that catch, Bryson James with a big catch earlier in the ball game. These young receivers made Priche Rodriguez somewhat expendable. They felt these guys were a little bit better fit for their system. And then to go out and make the trade to add Maurice Mann to the mix, they really felt that Mann, who was Edmonton's second leading receiver last year, was a guy who would open up some more space for Arland Bruce.
Under 4 minutes to go before halftime. Glenn. And in the seam, Arland Bruce to the 35, inside the 35-yard line. His 3rd catch of the afternoon, and the biggest so far for Arland Bruce.
Arland Bruce is afforded a little more room here as things are packed tight in the box because the Tiger Cats go with a double tight formation. Ton of room around Arland Bruce, the corner. Dwight Anderson is way off him. We've seen Arland Bruce in the past as a kick returner. We know he's an elusive guy. After the catch, you can't give him that kind of room to make the reception.
Cats continue to move the ball. Kevin Glenn to Marcus Thigpen is open. Will they get him? Not a chance. Touchdown. Could anybody have a better 2 weeks in the Canadian Football League than Marcus Thigpen is having?
You know, we've called him momentum in this ball game. Maybe we'll just call him Shakespeare because, as the saying goes, all he does is make plays. Marcus Thigpen lines up as a slot, comes across the formation versus man coverage. And I'm sorry, Malik Jackson, but that's what we call a mismatch.
Well, he's obviously not just a returner as well. 3 returns for touchdowns in 2 weeks. His first catching the football, and the Tiger Cats extend their lead. Kevin Glenn to Marcus Thigpen, who brought that play in from the sideline.
Well, and this is good film study, understanding down and distance, recognizing that in this field position, 1st and 10, they're likely going to see man coverage from the Calgary Stampeders. That's exactly what they get. They run what offense is going to call a rub play. Defense might call it a pick play. Whatever you want to call it, Marcus Thigpen calls it 6 points.
4 touchdowns, 2 weeks. 2 today. 9-point lead. Dion Murphy has some room. Murphy's tripped up by the former Stampeder, Sandro DeAngelis, who gets his nose dirty there and may have saved 6.
We mentioned the man coverage that Hamilton is going to get here. Marcus Thigpen is lined up as a slot receiver, second man in from the right side of their formation. As he starts to come across the field, take a look at all the traffic in the middle of the field. There are about 10 bodies in that small space. Malik Jackson, the man in coverage, gets caught up in traffic. Marcus Thigpen runs around the traffic jam. And he's one of those guys you're just not going to catch from behind.
Henry Burris, play action, in trouble again, scrambling. Burris throws it into the second row. They actually have some new seats over there. You talk about close up to the action. You're practically in the huddle over there. And that was not the intended target for Henry Burris, but he was running for his life.
Well, Henry Burris is facing all sorts of pressure from the defensive line. Justin Hickman comes off the right edge. DeMonte Bolden ultimately up the middle. Hickman forces him right. Kahari Long helps out Bolden, the man who eventually gets hands on, but the veteran Henry Burris comes up with a heck of an effort just to throw that ball away and avoid a grounding call or a sack.
Rush again, Burris, and the pass is caught at the 50-yard line. Romby Bryant hanging on this time.
Well, this is a nice bounce-back play for Romby Bryant, who's had a couple of drops in this football game. Bryant will appear on the left side of your screen. He's running that deep hook route. He knows contact is coming from Joaquin Bradley, the corner. But Bryant this time dials up that concentration and hangs onto the rock.
2.5 to go before halftime. In Ticat territory. Burris throwing again. Pump fake again. Trouble again. And almost picked off on the sideline. Jamal Johnson had to do the tightrope there, but an incompletion.
Well, Justin Hickman does a fantastic job. Number 95, the former UCLA star at defensive end, working against rookie tackle Edwin Harrison. Harrison gets away with a little bit of a hold there, and that's all that saves the sack. Number 95, Hickman. This is a young guy who really became a force, I felt, in the second half of last season. This picked up right where he left off in the new year. He's got a guy who knows a thing or two about D-line coaching him in the great Greg Marshall.
Second and 10. Burris left sidearms it, and Joffrey Reynolds can't hang on. Would have been stopped anyway. But Henry Burris is facing a lot more pressure than he did a week ago against the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, he sure is. I tell you, the last few plays, the way number 95, Justin Hickman, has had his hands all over Henry Burris. Might have to take him out to dinner and a movie. Justin Hickman giving the right tackle Edwin Harrison fits on that series.
So the Tiger Cats will have a chance to drive the football again with the wind. Burke Dale's trying to angle one with Mr. Excitement right there. Spins and finally corralled. The only time, one of the few times they've been able to stop Marcus Thigpen in his tracks. It has been Marcus Thigpen's first half.
Well, Marcus Thigpen maybe needed a little bit of a break after what he's been up to in the first half. First time he touches the football, returns a punt for a major, comes on, play a little offense in the second quarter. This is just what he does. He scores.
Maybe that's another nickname, first time. Last week, first time he touched the football in the Canadian Football League. Touchdown. This week, first time he touches the football in Iverwin Stadium, his new home. Touchdown. Cannot think of a more glorious debut. DeAndre Cobb knows about that. Sparkled last year as a rookie running back in the Canadian Football League.
Cobb, who, as we said, entered last season as the number 4 tailback on the Hamilton Tiger Tiger Cats depth chart. Ultimately ended up pulling a little bit of a Lou Gehrig. Wally pipped the likes of Terry Colley and Trey Smith, took their job and wouldn't give it back.
2nd and 6. And slipping on that turf. The draw play is Cobb, so Justin Pilardi will have to put a good boot to this one. He does have the win. And the Stampeders, after this little scrum after the play and some words exchanged, should get some good field position and time to work with. But isn't it something about this great league, the Canadian Football League? Every year you start anew, and there are some names and stories that captivate you. And Marcus Thigpen is certainly one of them. Chad Owens as well for the Argos. Tim Maypre in Montreal.
Mr. Jeffers Harris in Winnipeg.
Jeffers Harris. Says a lot about the recruiting and the league, capable of doing that every year. And stars really get born or reborn north of the border.
No doubt.
So Pilardi is in his end zone. Normally, a lot of kickers would take the knee and take 2, but he's got a big leg and he's got a big wind. And again, a big kick. Dion Murphy cutting back, loses his lid at the 48-yard line. 1:18 to go before halftime. Where the guys are standing by. Live at the half coming up. Sure they'll have a lot to say about number 8 in black. And this Hamilton front 7 that's done a very good job on Henry Burris so far. Chance to pull closer before halftime. Burris airs it out again. Inside the 35-yard line for Nick Lewis. 3rd reception of the afternoon.
Nick Lewis, the inside man in this 3-man set. Reads zone coverage, finds a hole, makes a catch. And as Nick Lewis does, fights for extra yardage. One of the strongest guys on his feet in the entire Canadian Football League.
Another strong guy, Joffrey Reynolds. 3 certainties: death, taxes, and Joffrey Reynolds. He will come at you. He finds the holes, and it doesn't matter. Think about, again, the offensive lines he's had through the last couple of years, the different personnel.
Well, this year we've talked so much about the Calgary Stampeders having to rebuild this offensive line. Much the same situation as they were in 2008, a year where they entered the year with 3 first-year starters. The problem is only one of those guys remains 2 years later in Big Ben Archibald.
Play action out to PK Sam, takes a lick, sidesteps another. Garrett McIntyre had to retreat and come back and make the tackle, or it was touchdown. And now inside the 15-yard line, the Stampeders with 30 seconds to go before halftime.
PK Sam, the back man in this stack formation, working along with Romby Bryant. Bryant pushes deep, drives the defender off the line to clear space for Sam. That makes for an easy throw for Henry Burris. Terrific effort after the catch from PK.
Again, down in the green zone. Stamp sputtered last time. Only able to get the field goal. Low snap. Henry picks it up. Escapes, and in and out of the hands of R.J. Franklin, and another Calgary receiver drop.
And this is a situation after the effort Henry Burris made to once again escape his date for the day. Number 95, Justin Hickman. This is where you need your receivers to make plays for you. Usually reliable R.J. Franklin comes up with the 4th Calgary drop of the day.
9 seconds to go, so time for one more shot at the end zone here before halftime. They can't find it. John Huffnagel will not be placed. Here's the rush again, and inside the 5-yard line, and there will be even more yardage tacked on. This will go to the goal line because Henry Burris was crushed as he delivered that football.
Well, Hickman finally got to him, but got to him a step too late.
The passer, Hamilton 95. Half the distance to goal. First down.
Hickman's just coming with speed off that edge. Calgary tries to use the back to help block. Beats Joffrey Reynolds in the backside of that protection. But we know the CFL is committed to protecting its quarterbacks in terms of the calls they're going to make on those late hits and headshots this season. In the past, Hickman might have gotten away with that one, but not this year.
Johnny Forzani made the catch. And with 4 seconds to go, the Stampeders, the 2-yard line, decide to go for the points. Chip shot for Rob Maver. Still has 1 second left on the clock. So that makes it a 6-point differential. Are you a little surprised that they didn't go for that end zone?
With the time on the clock, a couple yards to go, they just want to get some points on the board. Needed the points.
Henry Burris able to drive the football, but only 1 touchdown in the first half. To Romby Bryant. Rob Maver doing the rest of the scoring. 2 touchdowns from Marcus Thigpen, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. What a name this guy has made for himself so far. His CFL career has just begun. Not bad considering he was a last-second cut of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Kevin Glenn will take the knee. The Hamilton Tiger Cats will go into the locker room with a 19-13 lead. Exceptional return again from Thigpen. The Ticats looking much better than they did a week ago. 6-point lead. Live at the half next. The CFL on TSN continues.
He's a rookie out of Indiana. He's also got that touchdown on offense. I want to ask you, Jock, he's got a missed field goal return for a touchdown. He's got a kickoff return and a punt return. There's some not so subtle differences between all those 3, isn't there?
Big differences, and some are harder than others. The kickoff return touchdown is by far the hardest one to make, and he did that the first time he touched the football, and that's because you got a lot of great athletes all converging down the field, and they can come to a single point of contact. Punt return's the second toughest one to bring back because you've got again athletes on the field who have lanes, and it still takes a lot of effort to get through that line. But the missed field goal return is by far the easiest return a touchdown on because you got 5 or 6 guys out there who are 280 to 300 pounds who aren't used to covering, and there's all kinds of space out there as a result. But you talk about Thigpen getting released by the Riders. How sick are they?
He was on their practice roster. He's snapped up by.
How sick are they right now? I mean,
well,
it just goes to show you're never quite sure, particularly with return guys, because you can't practice returns in practice.
Chad Owen was in Montreal, right?
Same
now
thing.
Look what he's doing for Toronto.
Same thing.
Doing
It's really tough to assess properly the abilities that people have in that area. So I'm sure Saskatchewan feels badly, but they couldn't have known.
I'm having a hard time assessing the offense of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and I'm a little bit concerned at what's going on with this football team this early in the football season, having to revert to formationing on the football field, and I see it right here. You're gonna watch one guard here and one guard here, running out and spreading out the Hamilton. Here's Simeon Rotier right here. Now keep your eye on him. This is a guy that's under the gun, and watch what happens. They're trying to trick the Stampeders defense, and watch Rotier at the point of contact here. Watch him take this blow right under the chin, pow! Gets stood up, and they stymie Cobb. Now another formation here. Right off the top, you see 1, 2, 3 receivers, and here's a 4th up top. This is simply a 4-1 formation. They're going to try to give their offense an advantage from formationing once again. Calgary's up to the task, shutting down Cobb once again. And finally, not by the lack of trying, what they do is they simply just rally the troops here, and they put 6 double tights, 7 offensive linemen, spread it out, and they find Arland Bruce. And Arland Bruce, he gets paid to makes big plays. And what happens the next play, Schultze? We see Thigpen go in on a little drag untouched with Malik Jackson in hot pursuit. And I saw that race there happening, and I can tell you, Malik Jackson can burn. He's got jets out of the yin-yang, right? Yep. But I tell you, Thigpen ran away from him, made it look easy. But I'm concerned with Hamilton and what they're doing at formation right now this early in the season.
My curiosity on the formation is they want to see what happens defensively, and if they do see an opportunity, maybe they can take advantage of that at a critical time. The only formation that I thought was ridiculous was the first one where they have the 3 down linemen. But I think one of the keys to this game, and what has been a nice surprise, is the defensive front 7 for the Hamilton Ticats. Garrett McIntyre right there, Dante Bolden right there on the run play. And, you know, we emphasized at the beginning that Hamilton's offensive line was the issue. And outside of that one run play, Simeon Rotier, we haven't heard a thing about him. So we got to give the kid a lot of credit for having a level of consistency in this game when we were so critical of him the previous game. He's done a nice job. But that defensive line has to continue to provide pressure because it's a different approach this time around. You see almost 90% shotgun of Henry Burris. So I want to see what Dave Dickinson does in the second half if he gets his quarterback moving a little bit, because eventually that defensive line will create a play on Henry Burris.
And you guys agree with them taking the field goal instead of trying to punch it in for a touchdown right there at the end of the second quarter?
Have to.
Yeah,
take the
you
points.
You can't take the points off the board.
No, they didn't. As a result, it's a 6-point game. It is the Marcus Thigpen show again. This guy played wide receiver and running back at Indiana, and he's doing it all. He's got 4 of 5 Hamilton's touchdowns this season. Welcome back. Here are your halftime numbers brought to you by Tim Hortons, proud sponsor of the CFL. Matt?
Yeah, you know, Schultz, you talk about time of possession. Again, I'm concerned with Hamilton's offense right now. Only 10:43 to Calgary's 19-17. And this right here is a big concern for me. The rushing yards for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, to me, that is going to have to change the second half for this team to continue to have success offensively.
Kevin Glenn has the lead at home, and he just spoke with our Jermaine Franklin.
Kevin, can you talk about the contribution of Marcus Thigpen? Obviously, the touchdown to start the game, and then you get the ball to him in offense, same result.
I mean, he's a good guy, and he's making plays out there for us. That's why we put him in certain situations to try to give us a boost on offense.
Going into the half with the lead, what's key for the offense to build on that in the second half?
I think just taking advantage of our opportunities. We got a couple of opportunities where we should have put some touchdowns on the board, and we didn't. Defense is playing well, so we just got to come out the second half and make sure we take care of our opportunities, and we should be all right.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, thank you.
Third quarter coming up. A reminder, later tonight, Saskatchewan is at BC. Brent Wallace is here with a Sports Center update. The Red Sox scored a couple of touchdowns last night against the Blue Jays. How's it going?
Back at Iverwin Stadium, getting ready for the second half. Hamilton by 6. Calgary quarterback Henry Burris with our Jermaine Franklin.
Hank, there was a couple of turnovers by your offense and some drop balls. How do you adjust to that?
Well, I mean, we're still in this game, and, you know, they're going to make some plays. We made some plays. It's the name of the game. It's about how you come back from it. And, hey, these are two good teams on the field. It's a great football game, a beautiful day. So now we got to come back and answer.
Despite the difficult first half, you guys are only down 6 points. What are some of the adjustments your offense needs to do to get right back in?
Well, we moved the ball. I mean, that's not a problem. We got 40 plays already. We tallied, so we've eaten up a lot of the time possession. Now we just got to go ahead and finish all drives and handle the ball. But guys are learning. I learned from my fumble, so I'm going to hold that ball much tighter. And now we're in positions to score, so we just got to finish all drives and get this lead back.
Thanks, Hank.
Appreciate it.
This game very similar for the Stampeders to last week against the Toronto Argonauts in terms of time of possession. But how about Kevin Glenn and certainly Marcus Thigpen did in that first half? Let's take a look at the two quarterbacks today. Glenn, 8 of 10, Burris, 11 of 22.
Well, and Henry Burris, the passing numbers say it. Henry Burris has had a lot more opportunities to be out there on the field. Kevin Glenn, a little bit conservative. We've talked a little bit about Arland Bruce not being overly involved. Matt Dunnigan spoke at halftime about some of the strategies that the Hamilton Tiger Cats have elected to go with to try and get receivers open. You know, as Schultze touched on, it'll be interesting here now to watch and see if Hamilton was looking to see what adjustments were being made, or if Hamilton was, in fact, if this was a big part of their game plan, was to try and get people open with those formations.
Sandro DeAngelis kicks it off here to start the third quarter. Dion Murphy is dropped at his 26-yard line. So Burris and company come out. They will work with the wind in the third quarter.
The wind had nothing to do with some of the mistakes made by Calgary Stampeder receivers, in the first half of this football game. A number of drop balls. These are drive killers, momentum killers, and simply frustrating plays for a quarterback.
Calgary very well could have the lead right now if not for those drops. Certainly have dominated the clock. R.J. Franklin. Another catch for number 87, 6-yard gain for the Stampeders.
Well, just a quick hitch screen to the left side from Henry Burris to R.J. Franklin. A little bit of a variation of the Stampeders zone read that you see them use so often offensively, but when you've got a rushing threat like Joffrey Reynolds in the backfield, you just see the way it freezes the defense every time Henry Burris even fakes a handoff.
Joffrey Reynolds time. Yes, it is. Second and short yardage and a burst. Reynolds, another big gain into Hamilton territory. 20 yards on the romp by Joffrey Reynolds. Sandy Beveridge, the veteran free safety, slow to get up.
I love the patience of Joffrey Reynolds on this play. A little hesitation, just waiting for that run lane to develop. Sets it up in the backfield, delays. Nice block out by the left tackle, Ben Archibald. Reynolds turns it up inside that for a big gainer.
75 yards on the day so far for Reynolds. Inching closer to another 100. Franklin again with some blocking now. Just short of a first down.
Good effort there by the corner, Joaquin Bradley, one of the more physical corners in the Canadian Football League, to come up and make the tackle on R.J. Franklin. We always talk about adjustments being made at halftime and things that a coaching staff may see. This series, we've already seen those two hitches to R.J. Franklin, which makes you believe that Dave Dickinson and his staff spotted something, maybe a little bit of a cushion being given to Franklin.
Joffrey again and is stuffed. Will depend on the spot. This Calgary Stampeder offense will get better as it gets healthier as well, missing a key component from last year who went out with an ACL injury, and Kenyon Rambo, who is getting close but is not on the trip, and Ryan Thelwell also, who is on the shelf.
Those are two very experienced, very productive receivers for the Calgary Stampeders. This is a team still with everybody trying to find their roles a little bit with the departure of Jermaine Copeland in the offseason. Copeland was their green zone go-to guy last year.
And for many years. Trying to do that now with the Toronto Argonauts. So it'll be third down, less than a yard. Burris behind center Tim O'Neill. And he will take it himself. Lunges forward, and it looks like he has the first down.
Burris just tucks in behind the big boys. Steve Middleton, Tim O'Neill, Dan Comiskey. Stampeders committed early to go with the sneak. As the backs creep up early to block, you know there's not going to be a handoff. The big boys just get it done at the line of scrimmage.
Just over 3 minutes gone in this third quarter. Calgary down 6. Burris fires. Romby Bryant steps out before the first down marker. Gain of about 9.
Well, after giving up a lot of pressure in the first half, the offensive line adjusts nicely here. Watch the right tackle, Edwin Harrison. A nice switch between he and the back, Joffrey Reynolds, to take inside-outside responsibilities. Harrison commits to big on the defensive end, Hickman. Reynolds steps up to take the blitzing linebacker, Otis Floyd.
Reynolds again in the backfield with Burris in shotgun. Second short yardage. 21 again, and Mr. Automatic.
We've talked so many times about Joffrey Reynolds and the way that he keeps his feet moving all the time. Even as he hits a bit of a stalemate, the feet never stop. Always going forward, waiting for that to break. As soon as it does, there's Joffrey Reynolds picking up positive yardage.
Again, the Stampeders using up the game clock. Burris now to the end zone, and it is picked off. Jason Shivers has it. He's got room. He's got blocking. Look out. Shivers to the 50, cuts back, and he's close to the midfield stripe. Jason Shivers, redemption from a week ago. Interception, Hamilton. Only one interception a year ago with the Toronto Argonauts, Jason Shivers, who was burned last week against Winnipeg.
Well, Jason Shivers does a terrific job redeeming himself here, but he gets help from the free safety, Sandy Beveridge. Not only was Shivers in great position and coverage, but if he doesn't pick that ball off, Beveridge is over the top to prevent that touchdown pass to PK Sam. I'm not sure exactly what Henry Burris saw on that play to make him go there.
Another Calgary turnover. 3 so far.
My baby, my brother's right here. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Stick together like a unit, like a unit.
Like a unit. It's a new unit this year. Chris Thompson gone.
Based on the way they ended last season, Rakeem Bradley, the wide side corner, is the only guy playing in the same spot he ended at last season.
And consider a very good ball-hawking secondary that was here in Hamilton. Expected to be a question mark before the season began, but they've got a great linebacking crew that is so solid that can also intercept the football, but were among the leaders in tackles last year for Greg Marshall and the Cats.
Well, the linebacking crew is clearly the glue of the Ticat defense, but the way that that young front four has come on this season has been huge, and they're going to have to hold down the fort a little bit.
Couple of ex-Argos now wearing the same number, PK Sam and Jason Shivers. 2-on-2, and Shivers comes away with a pick. Of course, those Lion backers, as in former BC Lions, look at their tackles. Jamal Johnson led the CFL.
Well, just an unbelievable season from that trio. Any one of them could have been the most outstanding defensive player in the East. 2 of the 3 voted East Division All-Stars. 2 of the 3 voted Canadian Football League Players Association All-Stars by their peers. Ultimately, all of them earning honors.
269 tackles between the 3 of them. Head-on-head collision. Bryson James drives the ball inside the Calgary 50-yard line. Bryson James, who performed admirably for the Ticats late last season.
James lines up as the wide man in that trips formation to the field. They set up the hitch. Stala and Bruce get outside to block. Try to create a lane for James.
3 yards to go for the first down on second down. Quentin Porter into the game. Hands off to DeAndre Cobb. And some of those short yardage plays, Quentin Porter will come in and direct the offense.
It creates a guessing game for the defense when in short yardage situation, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Quentin Porter line up in shotgun formation. You usually expect things to go up in between the tackles in 2nd and 2. But DeAndre Cobb spreads it out, gets to the outside to move the chains for the Cats.
Juwan Simpson is the injured Calgary Stampeder on the sideline. as he is so close to the sideline. They'll wait until he's up. It has been a punishing game, this one, so far, on both sides of the ball. Some big hits. Costly turnovers by the Stampeders.
Juwan Simpson appears to tweak his right ankle or knee. Watch number 12 on your screen just as he lands on the foot of his teammate, Malik Jackson. Whether he rolled his ankle or hyperextended his knee or both.
Glenn, Marquay McDaniel. Another first down inside the 35-yard line, actually just on the 35-yard line, so it will move the sticks again. Little ball control offense from Kevin Glenn.
For anybody who's followed the Hamilton Tiger Cats over the last few seasons, certainly one of the things that's going to stand out is the depth of talent that this team now has. You can credit Bob Obilovich, one of the league's great personnel men, for the roster that he's put together. We talk about Arlen Bruce having a quiet day, but you've got young guys, Bryson James, Marquay McDaniel, capable of stepping up and filling the void.
Cobb into the right side of the line and nowhere to go. Good job containing DeAndre Cobb. Barely a yard.
DeAndre Cobb missed week 1 last season. He was on the practice roster when the year started. Opened with a bang in week 2, going for over 100 against the BC Lions. That kind of set the tone for his season. Ended up playing 17 games, finishing 5th in the Canadian Football League with over 1,200 yards.
Glenn, money shot, looking for Bruce. Will there be a penalty flag? No. Arlen Bruce thought he was interfered with, but nothing, and Kevin Glenn took a shot as he delivered that football.
Arlen Bruce finds himself matched up here. Man coverage against the halfback, Brandon Smith. Bruce, the number 2 receiver, the middle man in the 3-man set. He's going to the corner. We've seen it a couple times here today. This is a money route for Arlen Bruce. But Brandon Smith is not only right with him, but also does a good job getting his head around to locate the football. As a result, no flag on the play.
Sandro DeAngelis with his 3rd field goal attempt. 43 yards and line drive, and he misses it. So only 1 of 3 so far for the former Stampeder, and Dion Murphy dances out of the end zone and has room, and DeAngelis is blocked hard by Brandon Browner. Dion Murphy down the sideline, inside to the 20. Dion Murphy dropped at the 12-yard line. A fabulous return from Dion Murphy, making something out of what looked like nothing. Touchdown. Maybe a job-saving touchdown for Dion Murphy last week. Case of dropsy for the Stampeders in his debut. Henry Burris to the end zone. Touchdown! Nick Lewis says hallelujah, because a year ago it took him 17 games to get a touchdown. Week 2, he has touchdown number 1 of 2010.
Well, this just demonstrates the beauty of having multiple weapons in your offense. Number 1, receiver comes around, Romby Bryant on the fake sweep. Number 2, Joffrey Reynolds in the flat. Number 3, touchdown to Nick Lewis.
Nick Lewis told us yesterday.
I learned that move from you. Don't count me out.
Told us yesterday that he was going to find the end zone. And he and Sandro DeAngelis have a bit of a rivalry going back to their days as teammates.
Hey, everybody in Texas. Oh, everybody there. What's up, baby? Everybody back home watching me. I got it for y'all.
But I'll tell you what, Nick Lewis, your touchdown doesn't happen if it's not for Dion Murphy with good usage of the field goal post.
Well, Dion Murphy, after 3 fumbles last week, had 1 foot in the coach's doghouse as he danced around the goal line. I couldn't help thinking he was going to be taking up permanent residence there. But as you said, Rod, he might have just saved his job with this return.
Dylan Barker finally makes the tackle.
Well, one of the key blocks, Brandon Browner, reminding Sandro DeAngelis that he is a former Calgary Stampeder.
Nick Lewis couldn't believe it took him that long to get 1 touchdown a year ago.
Straight up.
And the Calgary Stampeders have their first lead of the ball game. 7 minutes to go in the third.
A 10-point swing on that missed field goal.
2 missed field goals by the most accurate kicker, both against the wind, but not maybe quite comfortable yet. He's usually Mr. Automatic, Sandro DeAngelis. Bit of a shaky debut at Iverwin Stadium. Marcus Thigpen again. Another miss, and still on his feet, driven back. Close to his 20-yard line. Penalty flag on the play.
Sandro still in the red and white.
Looks like it was a little rough play after the whistle.
Play. Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 88. 15-yard penalty. First down.
The kind of discipline-type penalty that will drive John Huffnagel insane as they finally bottle up Marcus Thigpen. Ron Kelly gets nailed, throwing Jordan Matichuk to the ground by the back of his helmet.
So better field position. DeAndre Cobb into the TV card on the sideline. Off the left edge. A little running room there, DeAndre Cobb. More room than he's had for the most part today.
We saw in the previous Calgary Stampeder touchdown drive in this football game, Rod, the ability of the Hamilton Tiger Cats to bounce back, put together a nice drive of their own. That kind of composure, not hanging their heads like we used to see from Hamilton teams in the past. This is another one of those times they're going to have to answer the bell. DeAndre Cobb gets the drive started well.
2nd and 4. Here's the rush. Glenn to McDaniel. First down with a catch. Into Stampeder territory. And once again, Kevin Glenn dusts himself off.
Marquay McDaniel here in his 2nd year with the Tiger Cats, emerging as something of a go-to guy for quarterback Kevin Glenn. Big 2nd down catch. Get a fresh set for the Cats. This goes along with what we talked about with the drops earlier for Calgary. Your quarterback's in trouble. He's back there taking hits to make a throw. The receivers need to make plays for him.
Cobb again. Juan Simpson in on the tackle. And setting up another throwing down for the Ticats.
The Stampeders do a nice job here of gap control defensively. Every gap between Hamilton blockers quickly filled in by white jerseys. DeAndre Cobb has nowhere to go.
We've seen the Cats go to Maurice Mann only once today, and he caught the ball but fumbled it. Glenn over the middle. Nice catch, Dave Stala. Saw a lot of that, particularly late last season. Mr. 2nd down.
Stala, a great clutch receiver in his own right. Just going to settle across the middle here. It's a bit of a cushion. He's working in man coverage against the linebacker, Keon Raymond. Raymond had to play that conservatively because the safety, Wes Lysak, was out of the middle. He was down low coming on a blitz.
Kevin Glenn going deep again, underthrown. And once again, Arlan Bruce just walks away. That ball would not have gotten there. Seriously underthrown by Kevin Glenn.
Well, Arlan Bruce had no complaint on the previous corner out where he's defended by Brandon Smith. Bruce might have been able to argue for a call here. Smith didn't get turned around until late. Bruce was trying to fight his way back to the football. But I guess the officials didn't see it the same way I did.
Second down now, 10 yards to go from the Calgary 40. Hamilton trying to answer that Calgary touchdown. Bruce couldn't one-hand it. So once again, Sandro DeAngelis, or will it be Justin Pilardi coming out? This is again against the wind.
Terrific job there and blitz pickup by the running back Cobb to chop down Juwan Simpson and open that throwing lane. Kevin Glenn showing the frustration. He knows he's got to bring that one down.
Justin Pilardi, this would have been about a 46-yarder, but again against a very serious wind here today, so Pilardi will try to angle one.
You can probably thank Dion Murphy for a little bit of that decision as well from Marcel Belfort.
Pilardi to the sideline. Out of bounds near the 15-yard line. 2019 Calgary. 2 seasons ago, teammates that led to a Grey Cup. Nick Lewis and Sandro DeAngelis. DeAngelis now a Ticat. Nick Lewis wasn't too unhappy to see Sandro go east.
We all make our changes in life and we all go our different paths. But, you know, we choose different things, and, you know, I don't have to look at him every day. So it doesn't matter what he did or where he is. He's a great kicker. You know, he helped me achieve one of my goals in winning the Grey Cup. So I don't take nothing away from him as far as him being who he is.
John Cornish with the carry. Sandro DeAngelis, when told of the Nick Lewis comments, had this to say.
I think that my true friends that are really good friends understand that, you know, this was just a great situation for me. I feel like this organization is going in the right direction to win. I didn't make this move because I wanted to be closer to my family. I made this move because I feel the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to give me the best chance to win another big Grey Cup ring. It just so happens my family lives 35 minutes down the road, so I feel like I have my cake and eat it too.
Well, teammates sometimes don't get along. Okay, Sam brought down. It's short of a first down. You know that. You played the game. Some guys get along. I mean, it can't be a harmonious environment all the time. And obviously, Nick Lewis and Sandro DeAngelis didn't see eye to eye. But there are a lot of guys on that Calgary squad will tell you that Sandro DeAngelis was a great teammate.
Yeah, you don't have to be the best of friends. You've just got to get along for 3 hours once a week. The Calgary Stampeders clearly managed to do that.
Star of the day so far, Marcus Thigpen. 4 touchdowns in 2 weeks. 2 today. Burke Dales, big breeze behind him. Thigpen from his 35, dodges one, finds a seam, penalty marker down. And that flag likely will be an illegal block. We'll find out when we come back to Iverwin Stadium. Stamps by 1. Well, the sack attack continues as always from our friends at Purolator. The sack tally brought to you by Purolator, tackling hunger across Canada. Check. Winnipeg Blue Bombers with 8 sacks over 2 weeks. The Edmonton Eskimos, just a lone sack. We'll try to add to that tomorrow. Penalty was against Hamilton on the return with an illegal block, so backed up inside their 30. Play action, Glenn. And Dave Stell, a little razzle-dazzle here to Arland Bruce.
I'm picturing our buddy Matt Dunnigan pulling out his hair back in the studio. The Hamilton Tiger Cats getting a little bit wild offensively. Fake the toss, Glenn counters. A little hook and ladder, Stella to Bruce.
Glenn, little out pattern, and Maurice Mann hanging on. His second catch as a Tie-Cat. You know, you talked about the hook and ladder play. Was there one that was any more famous than Bryson James, the Hamilton Tiger Cats? Boise State, Fiesta Bowl.
His quarterback back in those days, another CFLer, Edmonton Eskimos, Jared Zabransky.
One of the great plays in NC2A history. Led to another great play. And here is a good play by Kevin Glenn. Little hook slide for a first down over the midfield stripe.
It's what we call a key breaker. When you're the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Kevin Glenn doesn't keep very often. That's what Justin Phillips is thinking when he bites on the run fake. He heads down inside. Kevin Glenn breaks contain. Pick up the first down. That is his first run of the day. Good call from offensive coordinator Mike Gibson.
Broken play here on the snap, and Kevin Glenn hangs on wisely. Coming up to the expiration of the third quarter. Next play, barring penalty, will be the final play of the quarter. This had trouble written all over it from the beginning.
The timing was off between Kevin Glenn and DeAndre Cobb. Glenn just has to improvise, try to avoid losing any yardage on the play.
Six receivers set. Glenn to man again. But it's an incomplete pass. That's the final play of the third quarter. A scoreless quarter for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Stampeders run right back at them. They have a 20-19 lead. Here are our numbers after three quarters. The Stampeders lead by 1 heading to the fourth. Brought to you by Tim Hortons, proud sponsor of the CFL.
It's been one of those twisted sort of football games where the Calgary Stampeders in the first half dominated the time of possession, but were behind on the scoreboard. The third quarter, Hamilton closed that gap a little bit, but lost ground in the score.
And a lot of it having to do with the wind here today. Calgary's feasted on the wind, been able to score with the wind. It comes maybe down to the fourth quarter, and Hamilton now has the wind and maybe on the foot of an ex-Stampeder.
Well, perhaps. We know Sandro DeAngelis loves those clutch situations, and today it would also mean an opportunity to redeem himself as he's gone just 1 for 3.
Yeah, he has been out-kicked here today by the guy that he mentored a little bit in Rob Maver. Now Justin Pilardi, again one of the rookie kickers. This is a high wobbly one. Justin Pilardi won't be happy with that one with the win. Don't forget, on this Saturday, later tonight, we take you out to the West Coast. BC Lions, Saskatchewan Roughriders, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Outdoor football again. What used to be Empire Stadium, Empire Fields tonight. Will be very interesting to watch, to see.
I love the idea, but ask me again in November.
So after that punt by Pilardi, wobbled out of bounds. Stampeders set up shop here at their 33. 1-point lead. Trying to get their second win of the 2010 season. Little crossing pattern. PK Sam working with Romby Bryant. Sam was able to get open.
It's a nice tandem route between the two receivers. They cross in terms of their paths. That creates confusion for the defenders. A little bit of a pick. PK Sam is the man who comes free. Henry Burris finds him in the flat.
Short yardage, twin backs. Joffrey Reynolds and Cornish, but Burris will keep, and I'm not so sure he got there. to see what the spot is. This could mean another third down plunge by Burris. It's almost a yard and a half.
That extra push might just get it for Henry Burris.
Had to get to just beyond the 43-yard line. He's going to be short by a half yard.
Less than a yard. You got to believe John Hufnagel's going to put his confidence in his offensive line. We'll bring in a few more big-bodied reinforcements from the sidelines. Go after this one. Calgary 1 for 1 on third down conversions so far.
And here they go again. Mike Labinjo in the backfield. Comes to the line now. Burris again. And this is really going to depend on the spot, but that progression may have got it for him. That push.
You can't get a much better stand than the Hamilton Tiger Cats came up with there.
They'll bring the sticks out again, it looks like here. Maybe just by a nose, Dwayne.
Burris tucks in behind his right guard and right tackle.
And it's going to be a first down.
First down.
Another successful third down gamble for John Hufnagel and the Stampeders. Play action, Burris. And Robbie Bryant can't haul it in. That ball a little high for Bryant. Joaquin Bradley in on the coverage.
There were paired routes there between Robbie Bryant and PK Sam. Both running outs. Bryant, the deeper of the two, waiting to see how the defenders are going to react. Play action. Burris opts for the deep route.
Five receivers in motion now. 2nd and 10. There's the rush. PK Sam out of the backfield. Penalty flag flies. Sam fumbled the ball, knocked it out of bounds, and initial indication might be a holding call. Exactly what it is. So Calgary will have to bring their kick team out, and Burke Dales will have to boot this against this breeze.
Holding. Calgary number 2. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
Now, the great irony of this play is that PK Sam, number 2, is the man who gets caught for holding. He's blocking Garrett McIntyre. The thing is, it's a screen. Sam wants to let him go. McIntyre's actually the one doing the holding because he recognizes the play.
Loader against the wind. Thigpen is able to grab it. No yards. A 15-yard penalty. 12 minutes to go. 1-point game on a beautiful day in Southern Ontario. Legends in the house. Cats home opener. Tony Gabriel, Hall of Famer. Of course, Clements to Gabriel at the 76 Grey Cup with Ottawa. Russ Jackson, Canadian quarterback. CFL's most outstanding player 3 times, 3 Grey Cups with the Ottawa Rough Riders. Of course, Angelo Mosca also in the house here. We always see him. He's like an air. And a tip drill that works. Bing, bang, boing. And Kevin Glenn got rocked.
We saw the Hamilton Tiger Cats execute the hook and ladder earlier. I don't think they could have drawn this one up any possible way. Stampeders are bringing the house.
Marquay McDaniel, the assist to Arlan Bruce. And Mike Labinjo.
Eric Fraser, both unblocked. And Quinton Porter in for short yardage, allowing Kevin Glenn to catch his breath.
Porter can do this, takes off for it, searching for the first down marker, and he looks like he has it. Hit head on by Keon Raymond. Got him in the crosshairs, but Quinton Porter, as we have seen in the past, may be the most fleet 6'5" quarterback you'll ever see.
Absolutely. The thing I love about Porter on this play is how he knows the situation, knows where that first down marker is. 2nd and 2, getting out of bounds, sliding. No option. Let's take the collision, move the chains. Do what you got to do.
Back on the sideline and Glenn back in. So no worse for wear as Kevin Glenn after that double shot that he took. Pump fake for Bruce. Has him. Arlan Bruce knocked out of bounds. The 17-yard line. And the Stampeders bit on that pump fake that time. Perfectly thrown football from Kevin Glenn.
Yeah, the message to Dwight Anderson from Arlan Bruce and Kevin Glenn. Gotcha. There's the pump from Glenn. Bruce goes deep. Anderson does well to recover and prevent the touchdown. But big damage done nonetheless. We saw the Stampeders execute a similar play in the first half to score a touchdown. Henry Burris to Romby Bryant. Turnabout is fair play.
Out of the green zone. Out of the backfield, Marquay McDaniel. Outside, down the sideline, and a penalty flag as he was knocked out of bounds.
I think Dave Stala is going to get nailed for the hold here. He was one of the men blocking out in front of Marquay McDaniel.
Waiting for the verdict here from Andre Proulx.
After yards were gained, holding, Hamilton 88, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So it will still be a first down, but nowhere near the goal line as Marquay McDaniel had advanced it there.
As McDaniel catches this screen, Dave Stala is one of the men trying to create a lane. What he needs, based on his body position, is for McDaniel to turn it up inside, but McDaniel sees a free defender that's behind, tries to outrun him. It puts Stala in a tough position. Everybody in Stampeder land a little nervous anytime Brandon Smith goes down. Defensive halfback number 28 missed the entire 2009 season with a knee injury.
Or his ACL in the preseason. And like you said, Dwayne, never got back in the lineup. Nervous moment, he's up.
And Smith just gets caught ducking his head on the tackle. Probably a little bit of a stinger or a burner through the spinal cord down the arm, as often happens when you duck your head on a hit. Just one of those reminders for young players watching. You always want to keep your head up, see what you hit. That's how you avoid getting hurt.
Just under 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Hamilton Tiger Cats held the lead for most of the game into the third quarter until the Stampeders rally back and have a 1-point advantage. Glenn to the far side. A little in route by Dave Stala. And the Ticats will be second down and 2 yards for a first down. Can also look end zone, obviously.
Dave Stala's the wide man. He's coming on an underneath route versus man coverage. He knows he's got that man, the corner, Dwight Anderson, chasing. Tries to get him to overrun, but Anderson gets just enough of Stala to be credited with the tackle.
Second short yardage. Glenn again to Stala. And down to the 2-yard line, 1.5-yard line. So now it will be first and goal.
This time the Tiger Cats bring Dave Stala from the backfield. Bit of a cluster formation. Marquay McDaniel clears deep. Stala stays shallow to the flat. Nice easy completion for Kevin Glenn. Stala shot stopped just short of the end zone.
8-play, 73-yard drive. Tiger Cats owning time of possession now here in this fourth quarter. Cobb in the backfield, Glenn in the shotgun. DeAndre Cobb, the handoff, and he's stopped in his tracks. On Claybrooks again, Tom Johnson as well.
If we know anything about this Calgary Stampeders defense, we know these guys run to the football, even the big boys, Claybrooks and Johnson in the middle. Slice passer blockers and pursue. Pretty good when you get your defensive tackles leading the charge.
So now, Mr. Short Yardage, actually it's Adam Tafralis coming in. Third string quarterback, the push. And he is stuffed. No signal, no touchdown, and it will be third down. Kevin Glenn now walks back on the field. So Tafralis coming in for one play. Crowd wants them to go for it, and they will. Calgary Stampeder defense with a good stand so far. Can they make it 3 plays in a row? And the Cats find the end zone. Glenn behind center. He's going to throw. Pump fake to the end zone. And it is not caught. What a stand by the Stampeders. As the Cats look to Arlan Bruce, their go-to guy. The Stampeders take it away.
And the Hamilton Tiger Cats opt to be aggressive on this 3rd and goal situation. Throwing the football. Pass is called incomplete. Big question is, did Brandon Browner just dodge a pass interference bullet here?
Second Hamilton turnover on downs. What a stand by the D for the Stampeders. And out of the backfield, Nick Lewis that time gets his team to emerge from the shadows of their goalpost.
It's a tremendous reaction and recovery from Brandon Browner, but he never once looks back at the football. And from what I see, he's making contact with Bruce before that ball gets there.
Tough one for the Tiger Cats to swallow. 3 plays from the goal line. 2 quarterbacks. And caught by R.J. Franklin, another first down. And 2 quick plays, 2 quick strikes. And the Stampeders are moving the football.
In the corner, Joaquin Bradley on this play gets caught in a split second of indecision as to whether to play the football or play the man, initially committing to the ball and then trying to redirect. It ultimately comes up with neither.
Just over 6 minutes to go. Play action. Burris has time. And he has PK Sam, but a little underthrown, and Sam couldn't come back to that football.
That was a throw the moment it left his hand that Henry Burris wanted back. PK Sam, the inside receiver, closer to the bottom of your screen. It's little resistance from any defenders as he runs that corner route.
Second and 10. Here's the rush. Dylan Barker hits Burris. Penalty marker flies on an interference call downfield. And Burris took a jolt. And in the black and white commiserate. And here comes Andre Proulx.
Pass interference. Hamilton 25. First down, Calgary.
Markeith Knowlton.
Nick Lewis is the inside receiver on this play. Linebacker. Markeith Knowlton bumps out in coverage. Right there, you saw the grab just as he tried to make his break. And off the edge, bottom of the screen, Dylan Barker. Safety blitz comes up with a big hit on Burris.
Joffrey Reynolds time. And bulldozing his way close to another first down.
We saw the ability last week of this Calgary Stampeder offense, led by that offensive line, and their ability to put football games away. Situations where they're playing with a lead late in the fourth quarter, and everybody knows Joffrey Reynolds is getting the football, yet they still manage to execute successful plays.
Right at his average against the Tiger Cats. Averages 92 yards a game against them in his career. This time, a loss to Harry Long. And that was a big stand there by the Ticats, who now will get the football back and 4.5 minutes to work.
Kahari Long at the bottom of your screen, number 94. Manages to keep that right arm free. Gets himself off the block of the offensive tackle. Fight for that outside leverage. Prevents Joffrey Reynolds from getting to the outside.
There he is. The new Ticat who has roared the last 2 weeks. Almost blocked again. Keane Bradley. Big Pen reversing field and wrestled down to the ground. Ticats, 4:15 to go, down 1 in Hamilton. Our game story brought to you by Mr. Lube, a 1-point game with 4:15 to go.
Marcus Thigpen, a monster again for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Joffrey Reynolds, he's just Joffrey Reynolds for the Calgary Stampeders. Well, the real story is, for me, the decision at the end of the first half by Calgary to kick that field goal, because that's the difference in the football game right now.
Here's the rush. Glenn. Catch made once again by Dave Stala. That's one of those passes in that danger zone you have to be very careful with.
Well, this is what you call a hot read. The blitz was coming off the edge from the safety, Wes Lysak. That means the ball's got to go quick because there's no one to block him. Stala breaks off that route. Glenn knows he's got to throw the ball quickly. Good recognition by the two veterans to execute that play.
Second down and a long 3. Nobody in the backfield now except for Glenn, who will throw. Catch is made, and running room for Marquay McDaniel. Huge gain, big play for the Ticats with just over 3 to go.
Marquay McDaniel, quick slant, coming from the left, heading to that open middle. Big missed tackle as soon as he made that catch. McDaniel, number 6 in the stack.
A 3-minute warning is on the field. Tiger Cats down 1, threatening. An awfully good game, full of compelling twists right from the get-go. 1-point lead for Calgary, 3 minutes to go. Kevin Glenn in traffic to Arlen Bruce, who makes a nice grab. Two teams that last year played football like this, very close.
Well, they certainly did here in Hamilton. The Tiger Cats came up with a victory, 24-17 over the Stampeders. The difference in that game, Adam Tafralis on the fake quarterback sneak threw a bomb to Arlen Bruce for a touchdown. And in Calgary, the return match, the Stampeders escaped with a 1-point victory, 15-14, with the ball in Hamilton's hands at the end of that ballgame.
Big second down play here. 3 yards to go. Glenn, quick hitter, and there's Bruce again. Well, he's done it for so many years. This is the guy you would look to right now.
And I can assure you on these last 2 plays, Kevin Glenn knew before the ball was snapped that he was throwing the ball to Arlen Bruce. If you watch Glenn's head, it was turned to that left side where Bruce was all the way. Didn't matter if he was covered. He was counting on number 1 to come up with a catch for him.
Arlen Bruce has had a couple of tries close to the goal line, and of course in the last possession through his hands, 7 catches, 97 yards. Stala able to duck 1 tackle, but then lost his footing. Just over 2 minutes to go. It will come up to another second down play.
Dave Stala, package we've seen from the Hamilton Tiger Cats before, comes in motion across the back and slips out into the left flat for a quick hitter from Kevin Glenn. Keon Raymond a little sloppy with the tackle, going high on Stala. He gets lucky as the receiver was unable to keep his feet.
Maurice Mann comes into the game and brings the play. A few times we've seen players come into the game, bring a play in, and have the ball thrown to them. Let's see if it works this time on 2nd down and 5.
Jesus.
Glenn goes the other way, and it's caught, or is it? The official is looking, and he says it is caught by McDaniel.
Dwight Anderson is lobbying for the Calgary bench to throw a challenge flag. You won't see much reaction from the bench.
Daniel says yes as he nods. We might get a good look here. Looks like he had it.
Daniel appeared to keep that one off the turf.
No challenge flag.
Good decisive call by the official.
As the officials get together now, and they may go now look at it. They may have been buzzed from control to take a look at this.
Well, the final 3 minutes of a football game. Remember, this review, the video review, is triggered by the command center, not by the on-field officials. It's initiated.
And so Andre Proulx wears a beeper-like device, pager device, would have been buzzed. Jake Ireland is looking at this now in a variety of angles and monitors at the control center down the road in Toronto. And I'm not sure if there's a conclusive look at this, Dwayne, unless you bring out that that forward focus thing you got going.
Well, it never appeared to get down to the ground. It looks like Marquay McDaniel's right arm is underneath it.
Upon review, the ruling on the field stand, it was a completed pass, first down Hamilton.
So first down Tiger Cats.
I think the only way that one was getting turned around was that Jake Ireland had a couple of guys from FIFA in there helping him out today.
Exactly. One of the good things for Hamilton at this point, and probably for Calgary, just a little breather here, almost a built-in timeout to get their heads around this last 95 seconds.
Andre Proof still on headset.
Is it a clock reset?
The clock has to be reset to 1 minute 42 seconds.
So
First down,
142.
Hamilton.
It's the other role of the replay official, is he's the guy who can see the time. Make sure that that's kept honest.
A lot of sixes there for Kevin Glenn in this drive as he tries to look for 6 here. Bryson James and Maurice Mann, the wideouts. Stala in motion, Cobb the handoff. But he is surrounded by red and white. It'll be 2nd and 10.
It looked like DeAndre Cobb was going to get a nice lane to the outside as he gets a good block from Dave Stala to cut down the defensive end. Looks like that's going to spring him to the outside, but watch the pursuit of the linebackers and D-line. Milt Collins from the secondary, number 14, steps up. He's the first man in and waits for the rest of the cavalry.
.118 to go. Stala wide left. Man at the bottom of the screen. Glenn with the rush on. Good time to the end zone. Deep in the end zone for Bruce and an overthrow. And just like the script maker suggested, 3rd down, and the former Stampeder, who has missed 2 field goals today, will come out and try to give his team the lead.
Hamilton Tiger Cats with a shot to take the lead. Put all their eggs in the Arlen Bruce basket. Pretty good decision, but just unable to connect.
Made from the 35-yard line, missed from the 42 and 43. DeAngelis, the kick is up and it's through, but there's a penalty flag. And there's still lots of time here, Dwayne, for the Calgary Stampeders to respond to this. Let's see what this penalty is about.
Offside. Calgary, number 27. That penalty's declined. Field goal is good.
So now 22-20. Sandro DeAngelis is known for what he can do in the clutch. What he did in the Grey Cup, of course. Back in 2008. 5 of them, the most outstanding Canadian in the game. Calgary put up 22. Now he wears black and gold, but here's the other little fly in the ointment here in this script, is that Rob Maver is warming up on that other sideline. The guy who took over from DeAngelis. And Henry Burris has a chance to march his team. Robbie Bryant romps close to his 50, and there still is lots of time for that to happen.
Henry Burris connects with Robbie Bryant on the crossing route. Right to left on your screen. And you mentioned the rookie kicker, Rob Maver, and how it could come down to him. This isn't your average rookie. Rob Maver made over 92% of his field goal attempts last year in college.
Burris brought down Garrett McIntyre. Well, Rob Maver, last week 5 of 6, perfect today. Here's the rub for him, though. Henry Burris has to get this ball at least to about the 35-yard line. This breeze, this wind, as we have seen today, still picking up, and it will be right the kick. If they get it to that point, into his grill. Burris loads of time. Joffrey Reynolds lunges forward on second down, and depending on the spot, they could move the yardsticks again. 40 seconds to go.
Henry Burris, these last two plays, has just hung in that pocket. Hamilton's only rushing 4. The O-line doing a pretty good job. Eventually something's going to come open. Guys on the back end doing a good job of only giving up underneath completions.
Kid from Brampton, Guelph University. First round draft pick this year by the Stampeders. And it's going to be a third down play.
Stampeders perfect on 2 third down conversions thus far. Less than a yard to go. Hamilton defensive coordinator Greg Marshall getting his troops lined up.
Hamilton rises up. Willett's defense. And that looks like a first down. Looking at the spot from here, so play took 5 seconds off the clock.
Big push here from the Calgary offensive line. All Burris needs, quick surge.
Burris has put up good numbers again. Calgary offense has owned the play clock and game clock. Their defense, though, if they can pull this out, will be responsible for this victory if they pull it out. And they move closer to Rob Maver's range now. And another penalty marker, an undisciplined penalty flag here. Roughing after the catch by PK Sam will move it even further into Hamilton territory.
Major foul. Piling on. Hamilton number 28, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Jamal Johnson
is huge.
This turns this kick into almost a chippy for Rob Maver. They can still move it and use this clock up, bring it down to the final play of the game. The pressure will ride on the rookie's shoulders. Joffrey Reynolds time again. Outside and steps out of bounds. 18 seconds to go.
Rob Maver.
This is what you want to do in front of your friends and family. Get a chance to come home.
That's it. 50 friends and family here watching the game today.
And the guy that he once faxed while in college, Sandro DeAngelis, and asked him for pointers. Who would have thought a couple of years later he has a chance to win it against a guy who gave him some great advice. Rob Maver.
It's nothing. It's like cupcake, right? It's like cupcake, baby.
Like cupcake.
Joffrey Reynolds sets the table. Run to the left to move the ball into the middle of the field for Maver. Young man from about an hour away in Brampton, Ontario. Attended the University of Guelph, maybe 30 minutes from this stadium. Now in his first Canadian Football League game in front of family and friends. He's kicking for the win.
R.J. Franklin with the hold. 5 of 6 a week ago. Impressive debut. 2 for 2 today. 3 for 3. With 10 seconds to go.
Kicker Caltech. Goes by the name Rob Maver.
New kicker in Cowtown. His name is Rob Maver.
Rob Maver with ice water in his veins. Good snap from Randy Chevrier. R.J. Franklin, the rookie holder, pins it. Maver nails it.
Boy, already he is making that pick by the Calgary Stampeders in the first round look good. And those folks in red, all Rob Maver's friends and family. Could it be any better for this young man? 10 seconds to go. Kevin Glenn has to throw it. Bryson James at best get out of bounds. 2 seconds to go. A 60-yard kick if they needed it. DeAngelis is standing there with Marcel Belfay. This is a big wind. A chance.
Sandro's lobbying and he won.
He's lobbying and he won. Now keep in mind, 1 point in the end zone will also tie this game. So here we go. It's not over yet. It never is in the Canadian Football League. Calgary quickly getting 2 players back.
Yeah, they put 2 deep because they know they've got to get it out of there. You got to cover the whole end zone.
59 yards for the win. It's blocked. Tafralis will pick it up. And the Calgary Stampeders, on the strength of their rookie kicker, who's now become a new hero in Cowtown, have come to Hamilton and won their 2nd straight game to open the season. Rob Maver, ice water, 3 for 3, 23-22.
There's not much you can do about this block when you're kicking from 59 yards away. The trajectory of the ball is going to be low. Otherwise, there's no hope of getting it there. And that low trajectory, when you've got a 6'4" leaper like Brandon Browner in the middle, no contest.
What a game. Ups and downs. Stampeders 2-0 to start the season. The Hamilton Tiger Cats 0-2. The final in Hamilton. Calgary 23, the Ticats 22.